wait for Paul to get back. But how long did it take you to fill out your tier list?
2 minutes. Cloud9's at the top of everything, of course. Okay, I lied. You've seen it, so it's not. They're not actually.
Seaman Demon, to answer that question real quick.
Seaman Demon?
Yeah. It's welcome to Twitch. The odds of me getting press access, I'm hoping still good. I believe I'm still in good graces with everybody, despite the off season. So we will see. But that's really the only answer I can give you at the moment, unfortunately.
Am I like super robot-y or?
No, you sound good on my end.
Sound good to me.
Chat, if
Okay.
any one of us needs to be turned up, let me know. Oh, my camera weirdly froze. But welcome everybody to episode whatever number it is of the Crossover Podcast. I'm David. Paul's here, obviously, and we have a special guest today. Some of you might remember him from an episode a while back where he accurately predicted Cloud9 to win the LCS Summer Finals. It's not like he was biased or anything that would cause him to predict such thing. But Nick, welcome back to the podcast. How you doing?
Hello. It's good to be on.
What you guys been up to? I talked to Paul last week, but Nick, we haven't talked in a bit.
Well, just chilling, waiting for LCS to start at a reasonable hour now. Thank God, instead of 2 p.m.
It makes me so happy. Now we can possibly have watch parties again, at actual bars.
Seriously,
this year is right back into the swing of things, and I'm really happy about it. Did you catch all the news over the last 2 days, Paul?
Yeah, I saw the time changes. I mean, if anything, it's kind of better, kind of worse for me.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're working abnormal hours.
Yeah, I work nights, so I work when I'm told to. So I'm not getting the best schedule anyways, but it's actually not too bad. I get to watch the first 2 games of the day before I go to work, so that'll be good.
Which are still the best games, so at least there's that.
Yeah, but they always throw TSM on at the end. I don't know why.
You know very damn well why.
Yeah, the worst teams with no viewership.
Thanks.
Well, they used to throw them on at the end and say that it'd be a TSM waiting room to keep viewership up. And now they throw them on at the end to because they're the worst games. I don't know.
I think the viewership bump from TSM is now gone, entirely. It's just
I know. That's why I don't understand why they're still on at the end. Because usually it used to be they would put good games on towards the end or the middle, and now they're putting them on at the beginning.
The best game would always be third, previously, but now they're still catering it to EU to a certain extent to try and make sure that they get slotted the good games.
These poor, lower tier, not lower tier, but the teams without inbuilt fan bases were like, TSM fan base crumbling? We'll pick us up some of those, and then all of C9, TL, and who am I forgetting?
Yep.
100 Thieves were like, we'll just take all of them actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bandwagon people in general if they're gonna switch like that, or they're player fans. They're not you know what I mean, fans of an org. So they're gonna go to wherever the players go, and most of the players went to. I mean, most of TSM's old players didn't go to bad orgs, to be honest. That's the only way to call them, or lower tier. That's the nicer to the lower orgs. They went to good orgs or half decent orgs. So
I was gonna say we got 2 of them. Hanser's not in the league anymore. Svenskaren's. What is
Svenskaren went to C9. Well, I'm just saying initially, a lot of them went to you know what I mean, good teams. So they didn't go to bad teams and then disappear, kind of thing.
I mean, we've obviously been over it several times, but it seems like at the moment you're past the era of being able to build fans of teams. It's not happening as of late, unless you're like 100 Thieves is really the only one that's able to do anything with
Ben
it.
Scarron is on TSM right now.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
he went
he's
back.
TSM Academy.
Him, Wild
I
Turtle,
think
and
no, he's
Hollister.
lower than that. I think he's
No, he's
TSM
Academy.
Challengers.
No,
Or is that is that the same thing?
Yeah, Challengers is now the same thing as
Yeah,
Academy. I
Academy
did
and Challengers League are the same thing.
Okay, I was looking at some site and it was TSM. Oh, okay, I see. It renamed. Yep.
Yeah, which I still got to find out if they're going to allow me to co-stream or not. Because I had that permission last year, and I really want to co-stream the 100 Thieves games now that they're on weekends. And, like, at a time that actually, like, makes sense to do it. And I feel like it would be
Now
really...
that they're prime time.
Yeah. I mean, like they're legitimately
Essentially.
Saturday, Sunday at 6 p.m., which is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I'd love to co-stream it
I
if
just
we
looked
can.
at this roster for TSM Academy. Like, what is this? Just a boosting org for frickin' Triple and Drag Coup? Like Svenskar and Haunter and Wild Turtle?
Yeah.
Like what? Wait, is Haunter mid?
No,
Or is
Hunter's
No,
not.
he's top.
Oh, the way they organized it is
Yeah.
has Haunter in the
I
middle.
think
So.
Triple's not there anymore, right?
No, Triple's out. Thank God.
Yeah, Triple's gone. I don't know who the new guy is. I can't remember, but he posted like I don't remember what it was.
Oh, he
It
wasn't
was
he
something
previously
about
with them? At some point?
Triple.
No, not Triple. The guy that's replacing him.
Yeah, yeah. He
Uh,
was previously with them.
what is his name? I cannot remember. I don't know, but
But
nevertheless,
they posted like he talked about shooting up a school or something. So they cut him.
Probably made some off-color joke or something.
nah, he said he was like he was
Yep.
really like abusing drugs to the fullest, and it
Oh.
just started messing with him
Wow.
mentally. But he was acting like a shithead on top of it. So it's not like
Well,
So every Cloud9 mid laner in the history of ever, except for High.
and Niski.
Oh, true. Actually, I totally forgot about Niskier and Perks. Actually, okay, so maybe just Jensen and the new guys.
Oh, I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
wait, what do you mean? How is Jensen in that category?
Jensen was super toxic and
Jensen was
terrible for a
DDoSing.
long time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought we were talking about drug offenses. I was about to say,
Oh,
like,
No.
unless Jensen's
I
getting
was just,
hot, like,
no. I was
I
like
got it. Yeah.
lumping it all into being a shitter, kind of all in the same.
Yeah, the
category.
toxic times. I mean, hey,
Bad thing that teams don't like is kind of the huge category. I was just shoving it all in.
I mean, if you think about it though, TSM's peak was being toxic. You might as well give it a go for all time's sake.
True.
Get the DDoSers back in.
good luck with that.
Scream
how
at
well-
the players, see how it goes.
See
Worst
how-
that happens is Riot makes you sell the team and you go to Korea.
It's almost like they wanted to do that in the first place.
Yeah. Give
Hey,
it a
at least
shot,
it's-
baby.
At least it's not a full Korean team like a team this year. Dun, dun.
Wait, which team this year? Oh, TL.
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 But that's a little bit overblown to a certain extent because
That shit is like LWX or not LWX. Oh God, what team? It was before David
LMQ.
joined. LMQ. was the one.
LMQ, yep.
The difference is that you still have 2 Americans on the roster, or just American Korean, but everybody's just assuming like, no, you're not American, you're Korean. It's like,
Well, last
Oh, I
year
know
it
they're-
was. Yeah, my bad. What?
Oh, I was just saying. I know they're American Korean. I just meant
Yeah.
like the prevailing mentality is not something that you're going to be able to easily shake. Like even if I know that, or your
oh
average
no, I agree with you.
pays a lot of attention is going to know that. Like your average, schmuck who tunes in once a week is going to be like, haha, this is a funny insult we can level at this team. Ah,
I agree with you. I mean,
Yep.
anything surface level exists for a reason.
And I mean, it didn't work. They kind of did it a way smarter way than what other orgs were doing. Cough, cough, TSM. Like they brought in like actually good imports. You know what I mean? Like Cloud9 did last year. Bringing in Berserker, not some bum from LPL's Academy League.
was literally just flinging shit at a wall and hoping something would stick, and nothing stuck.
Yep.
I mean, if it would have stuck, they would have looked like geniuses, but it didn't.
Sure.
And now it looks even worse. I don't want to talk about too much TSM, but I think I'm already on their bad list.
Yeah.
But I do like I ain't gonna lie though, the way FlyQuest has done it and TL have done it are actually interesting though. Like, even though they're basically teams that aren't going to be speaking English in comms, so it's going to be a little awkward watching a behind the scenes video. It's still cool.
I'm curious to see how big of fandoms they build with these rosters, especially FlyQuest. Because it's like you have a team that on paper people are talking about possibly winning the split and being one of the most promising like rosters out there. But it is proven time and time again that you need players that can connect with fans regardless of whether you win or not. Like winning is a prerequisite, like it's one of the two puzzle pieces needed, but the other portion is having players that people love. Like Jojo Pune and Danny, people were able to latch onto so quickly. 100 Thieves did not have anybody like that, and despite winning, never caught on with anybody. So it's like you've got a heavy role to fill there. By all means, Spica can be that bridge along with Papa Smithy, but you need all 5 players to become.
I think they need to take lessons from Sneaky and Medios on how to be likable.
It's called just talk to people. Just be open and honest, and also not a piece of shit. And like life is easy.
I just already noticed a mistake I made on my power rankings, so that's cool.
You know what? There were a few things that I thought were mistakes on your power rankings, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I just went over it, and there's only one that I can't defend, and I believe was a true mistake. So
I think my mid lane rankings are perfect.
We'll go over them in
the logic I said to you.
Oh God. So first thing I want to do is, I don't know if you guys have stream up and can see this tweet. This is making rounds in the LCS scene literally as we speak right now. And for those in chat that don't know, we have a new caster in the LCS named Rafa. He's an incredible guy, did a lot of great work with the Academy scene, is great for content, is going to be a phenomenal addition to the LCS. This piece of shit came out and just trampled on the moment in the most selfish way possible. I'm not sure if either of you two have seen this yet, and I wanted to get your reactions to it. But what do you think?
I can't stream
clown
up.
Is.
Oh, Paul, I'll read it for you.
I have enough data, so I need to see it.
Yeah. He said, "Man, the LCS talent announcement makes me sad. Stepping away from the LCS comms still haunts me, but seeing the people that get
I read this.
Probably Okay, so you saw something.
I read this.
Is this some dude that just didn't make it onto the LCS casting desk or something and is really mad about it?
Yeah, seems like it.
Well, too fucking bad.
The thing that I don't get most about this, it's hilarious in like the most egotistical way, because all you have to do. Oh, I know, the replies are just as bad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but all you have to do is just mind your own fucking business. At the end of the day, Rafa made it into the LCS, and whether you like him or not is irrelevant. The only way that you're getting up to that pedestal is if you put your nose to the concrete and just start grinding the entire time. Worry about yourself, fix the problems that you have, become what the LCS needs, whether it's filling a hole or replacing somebody else, but don't degrade other people on your way up. Tearing other people down just so that you think you can climb up is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I hope this guy never gets a spot in the LCS, because his attitudes like this are fucking horrible.
Have you seen that guy's pinned tweet? It says word for word, in 2017, I am going to cast on the LCS stage.
Oh, man. Well, that's not happening.
Guy is just taking a bag of L's.
Might be time to replace that tweet.
The sad thing is something like this is like, people don't understand how career destroying this can be. Like, when you say something like this, just because you got passed up for an incredibly competitive position, like, that guy's never going to get a job now as a caster, ever, anywhere, ever. and he did it to himself, because even if you lose, there is such a thing as losing with grace. Even if internally you think you fucking deserved it above whoever this other guy is. Like, I don't know this guy from Rafa, but like this reaction just tells me good that he didn't get the job. Like, if he's harboring this kind of shit that he then posts, like, it's fine for him to think that way in his own head, right? Like, but for this, it's just like it's a death warrant.
It's like, here's the thing that I don't understand. I get not being happy with where you individually are at. By all means, I'm going through that same thought process right now as well, where I'm trying to figure out what my next steps are in content. You know what I'm not fucking doing? Blaming anybody else for my own mental struggles. You have to figure out your own shit, find your path, and then go from there. Only you can change your own trajectory. Yes, you're going to be reliant upon other things, other people, other companies, but that's also understanding the political game that comes with entertainment, sports, working in general. Office politics will always be around. If you don't know how to network, you don't know how to play the game, and you don't know how to treat anybody else with just a little bit of respect, you're not getting fucking anywhere. Deservedly so.
Right. There's a right way and a wrong way to go about getting the attention of LCS teams, isn't there, David?
Oh, Jesus.
Just
Oh, man.
Anyways, about those power rankings.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on to the power rankings.
We should power rank LCS caster interviews.
Oh, God, no.
We can put this guy at number 1.
Jesus.
Get on his good side.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. And you guys tell me if you like this methodology or if we should do it differently. I say we go role by role first and then reveal teams at the end.
Sure.
I think that's fair.
Sounds fine.
All right. Let's start with support. Again, these are the
good.
These are the average rankings between the three of us and where we would put them.
Wait, hang on. This is averaged out between the three of us?
Correct.
What? Oh, okay.
I need to zoom out.
Is this posted somewhere?
It's on the stream. Here, I'm trying not to do a full reveal, Paul, so I don't.
Can you just DM it to me?
Yeah,
good.
I'll send the snippet to you in DM. I don't want to reveal the entire thing because I don't want it to be spoiled, because then that takes away from the moment.
Well, this averaging out hides my glaring mistake very well.
Okay, what was your mistake on this one?
My mistake under support was that I had Ignar at 6 and Isla at 9, and I wanted to switch them.
I'm just saying, I
fair.
think both of you are out of your damn mind on this.
What?
How Busio is not top 5? Again, this is under the premises
Busio is top 5 on mine.
On yours, but he got dragged down so far because Paul has him way lower. I had him third.
How
on
low
mine.
did I have him?
You had Busio 6th.
6?
That's not right. That he got dragged down lower than.
He got dragged down lower than 6.
The problem is it's an average of the 3. So if we collectively
That's
have
not
somebody,
possible.
Then who put Chime that high?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I didn't put
depends on
Chime
who
that
you
high,
put
did
above.
I?
Yeah. So Chime. Wait, did I mess up the order on that slightly? I might have, just a tiny bit.
I was gonna say I didn't rank Chime that high.
Okay? No, you had Chime above Busio.
Yeah, but I didn't have him like high
I
enough
noticed-
that if you put Busio at 3, which is clearly more biased than me, you're way more biased than me.
Okay, actually, it appears as though I swapped Busio and Chime. That's the only mistake here on support.
Well, I had Huhi as second place on support, and you guys have him as 9th. So clearly there was an error.
There is not an error there. I can promise you that, because Paul had Huhi 9th and I had Huhi 8th. So we dragged his average down heavily, and I also had Ignar significantly.
Wait, you had
higher.
Huhi at 2nd?
Yep.
I like it.
Okay, I'm glad that most of us at least agree that Vulcan was 1. He's the best support in the LCS right now, and I don't see that changing by the end of the split.
Yeah, I had him at 2, so that's not too wildly.
Where can I
out of
see
line.
all 3 power? I want to see everybody else's.
Okay, I will publicly put up all of our power rankings in the Discord chat so that people can look at them individually as well. Because I'm just saying that, I mean, luckily now it's not. We've proven that Busio should be 1 slot higher, but even then, that 1 slot is
But I
kind
was
of BS
pretty. I want to be clear. I was pretty hard in all of my roles on rookies.
It's kind of hard to like defend a
'Cause-
position on a chart where the person's not even where you yourself put them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying
Yes,
it's a bad
yes.
idea. It's just hard for me to be like, I don't know, like, yeah.
I mean, the question is,
I can sit there and be fine with, you know, your averages pushing Core JJ to second because I had him at first, right? That's easy. But when I like that an example of Huhi, and then you guys drag him all the way down to 9th, you know, I'm not sure what to.
I mean,
what to
well,
do with that.
that's where the point
Where'd
of
you post them?
the general chat.
Okay.
That's where the debate comes in, though, because it's like, I do not think Huhi is going to end up a top 5 support in the split. I think Huhi is going to fall significantly because he has to lane with Stixay versus
think
FBI,
I
and I think it's going to cause problems.
I think he's a better support than his team deserves almost. You know what I mean? Like, I think he is individually more talented. I think he's probably going to get dragged down by his team being his team.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we know he's good. Like, he was on 100 Thieves, like, and he was part of the whole FBI and Huhi run. You know,
Which collapsed in summer.
Yeah, but it still performed for a long time. You know, it's not all or nothing.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if this is going forward, and given the current status of supports in the league, other than Fleshy, who we all almost unanimously agree 10th, I think, for the most part, I think everybody understandably is going to be higher. I think Ayla is already a top 5 support. Team Liquid looked great whenever he was in with them last year. Poom, I'm hit or miss on. Poom has some really, good moments, some really iffy moments. But I just think you guys are down. You guys are not high enough on Busio. I think by the end of Spring Split, he is top 3. Easy.
Maybe.
Sven is going to fall off, in my opinion. I think Sven is going to have that sophomore slump in his role.
That's what I'm saying. You're so high on Busio, and the thing is, well, this was my argument though. I already had this prepped because I knew you were gonna put like 100 Thieves rookies high. Is that I'm not fully convinced 100 Thieves rookies transition perfectly though, because Kenvi transitioned terribly to LCS. Now I know people's initial reaction is yes, but they have better role players like these two will, and that's the thought there, but. That doesn't sell it for me because I wouldn't call Bjergsen and Doublelift great transitional guys for rookies going into the league.
The information that I got from from people around Immortals though was that Kenvi had stage fright and had a hard time dealing with it. Which is different than.
Weren't you shilling Kenvi for years as the greatest talent ever come into the jungle?
Yeah. And I will continue. I will continue to shill 100 of these players to be so. To be fair, look at the people he's playing with. Somebody in chat wanted to say.
Okay, his team got worse. His team got even worse. Yeah, like this year.
Relative to the league, his team got worse. So, like, what is he gonna do?
Yes, but I'm more saying is that I think Closer's like the only player that all of us kind of thought was like, well. That's crazy. Me and Blue have him higher than you do.
Yeah, we'll get into that though. I want to stick with support for now.
Support. I think is important with Sven to remember is even he's only coming into the role as unskilled in the actual role. In terms of like game knowledge, he's like above 95% of the LCS, right? So all he actually has to do is get good at the role itself. He has all of the game knowledge to do so, and like a decade of experience at it. So it really comes down for Sven to, can he learn to play the actual role well? It's almost like a High situation. Remember when they plug and played High into support and jungle, and he played basically good enough to get them to where they needed to be? It's basically that. And the question is whether he can actually learn the role, because last time he role swapped, he had what, like half of an off season, maybe a quarter of an off season. He's had the full off season now, and he's a grinder. We all know he's a grinder. So I think that's kind of a point in his favor. He could slump, who knows? But
I put him third because I was just like, that was kind of my logic too. Was like, I think he can, he's gonna learn the role more in the off season. He's a grinder, like we said, and he really wasn't that bad last year. He just was like, at Worlds he got exposed, but playing against NA Sports is way different than playing at Worlds. So I don't hold that against him when I was making this list.
I will agree that I don't hold that against him to a certain extent, but it's one of those, like, I keep using this reference, but the Wildcat offense, at some point, a coach figures it out. And it doesn't have to be the players that just become magically better or worse. It's just you figure out how to play against it. And the meta hasn't really changed much, to the point where I think Worlds has exposed the pathway to beating him. And then, wait, am I showing Paul's list instead of the averages? No, I'm showing that. But on top of that, like, Ayla's coming into the league, and I automatically think Ayla is better than Sven. He already proved that last year, in my opinion. Just in the limited time that he was already in the LCS.
Here's a question. How much on power rankings do you consider how the team will perform as a whole when rating an individual player?
Quite a bit on bottom lane.
Because honestly, Cloud9 carried Sven, and Berserker will carry Sven.
Yep. That's why he falls lower to me.
Let me scroll through your... Yep, everybody except David, who's wrong in this stupid baby, has Berserker as number 1 in bot.
Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Okay, with that, we're shifting the bot lane and just opening that up next.
Well, I mean, do we actually have any... we honestly should have considered bot as a duo the whole time, I think. Because it's kind of... The performance of a lane. It's the performance of a lane, technically speaking. You know what I mean? Like, there's no. If Sven eats shit, Berserker will probably not do as well in a specific game, right? Or reverse, if Berserker pops off, Sven's gonna look really good. You know what I mean? So like,
I'm not doubting that.
To have both of them.
But how dare you come at me saying that, calling me out for not putting Berserker number 1 when I have Prince as my number 1? That's understandable because both of you had him at 2.
No,
I didn't have him at 2.
It's totally fair. I had him at 2.
I had him at 4.
No, you had... Okay.
But that's because I could easily defend why I had him at 4. I don't know who he is, and I didn't feel like looking up stuff.
Okay, so that...
So I just gave him 4. I was like...
4 is
I
kind
assume
of a fair
he's
ranking
good.
for a totally... like... How do I put this? Because I don't disagree, but I put him at 2, just because of Berserker's success. But like, imports can whiff, man. Like, no matter how good they were in their old league, they can just totally whiff, and it's a possibility that he just whiffs, and that the rest of FlyQuest just whiffs. Like, they're not an unstoppable team. Like, they have a solid roster.
Yeah, and I also put him at 4 because I literally put him at the same rank as Ayla, because I put him where I thought Ayla might end up. And I was like, I mean, they are bottom lane together, and you never know how an import's going to do with a rookie. Yep. Who he's shown himself as good. I get that. I just mean he's still a rookie, like, at the end of the day. So.
I just buy into the hype of it, personally. I think he's surrounded by a good team and a good leader in Impact that will allow his transition to be more smooth than it would be otherwise. And because of that, I have faith that FlyQuest will be will be somewhere firmly in the top 5 scramble of things. And I think that puts him in the position similar to Berserker, but with a better support. Because I think Ayla has better hands than Sven, even as Sven is the more cerebral player. That at some point the meta is going to shift this split, especially with the IE and Navori Quickblade changes coming. That ADC is going to be an incredibly impactful role, in my opinion. And I just think Prince and Berserker have the 2 best sets of hands in the league, and I don't think it's close.
And you have the most interesting list to me, David.
Why?
Like, if you look at Blues and I's list, right? Our general power ranking of a team and where we put their players has some overlap, right? Like,
yep.
There's definitely an average there. Yours is all over the place. Like, because where you were putting some of them and where you were putting teams is crazy.
Because I truly believe that players can vary in skill on individual teams. Like, if we were ranking individual players last year, like, I would still put 100 Thieves at second. But I would have understandably put both FBI and Huhi towards the bottom of the LCS, despite not bottom of the LCS, but like
proof
bottom 5 or 6.
All the proof that you need is Licorice and Contracts' careers after leaving Cloud9 straight into the fucking dumpster.
I would say this last year was a pretty good resurgence for Contracts. His summer splits for the last. Okay, Contracts is the opposite of Blabber, where Blabber performs insanely well in spring and falls off a little bit in summer, whereas Contracts has downright horrendous springs, but then performs incredibly well.
We're not on jungle yet. We're not on jungle.
Okay, yeah, we're not on jungle. We're not. Anyways, I'm surprised you guys.
Get your fight ready for jungle.
I'm surprised that you guys put FBI as high as you did.
We both put Contracts at 10 too.
Okay, let's focus back on bot. Can I assume that we all threw tactical Stixay and Spawn in the trash can where they belong?
Yes. Far down, bro.
I'm sorry to all 3 of them, but
I like them as people, all 3 of them. But like, Jesus Christ, guys.
To be fair, Spawn's actually good. Spawn is just. I think Spawn has a chance to play well and work his way up this ladder, but it's hard whenever Luger is already a pretty good hyper carry player. Yeon has already proven himself. Double Lift, assuming he has any hands left in him, is going to be top 5. And FBI, you guys are assuming is going to have a resurgence. I think is personally going to be about the same as he was at the end of this last split. I think FBI personally has peaked.
Possibly. I think FBI is really good.
He's really good. I'm not. I don't want to take anything away from that. I just think he's peaked.
Guys, why isn't there any hype around Neo? You didn't even say Neo's name.
We're just ignoring TSM, I guess.
I don't. When I place Neo,
support either.
even like biasedly, I put Neo above Yeon, but I don't actually really care about him that much, to be honest. Like, maybe they end up popping off as a team through some miracle, but it would be exactly that. A miracle. It wouldn't be, like, something I would say you can expect before a season starts.
I think Luger, Yeon, and Neo can all just sit at the same rank. Like, my top 4 is set and my bottom 3 is set, but those middle 3 are all kind of jumbled in around at the same rank.
I would personally put Luger over FBI right now. Individually, obviously,
I like Luger a lot.
EG's team is going to be better than CLG's. I'm not denying that. So obviously, FBI is going to get the bump on that regard. But individually, one-on-one, I would put Luger over FBI. And that's why Luger was higher on my list. I think that's fair. Like, I think that's a fair statement.
Where do you have FBI? Oh my gosh. You have him at 6?
Yeah.
You have DL at 3?
Yeah.
Oh.
High on that old veteran coming back.
It's just one of those things where him and Jensen, when they come back from breaks, they just have this resurgence. Do I think it's going to be a resurgence to hit best in the league? No, I don't. But I think it's enough to put him above FBI, Luger, and Yeon.
I guess the only reason I don't value Doublelift at all anymore is because I saw him. Like, I watched every game he played that last split on TSM, and it was terrible. It was absolutely, like, awful. Like, literally people, like, saying this is insanity. It was so bad that Riot redid the best of 5, or the lower bracket. Like, that's how bad their bottom lane was, him and Biofrost. They were terrible enough and got carried by Spica, Broken Blade, and Pearson that Riot was like, we cannot let this happen again, and they redid a format.
I mean, that's one way to twist history in your narrative.
How's that twisting history? People were so mad when TSM beat Golden Guardians after losing to them.
Yeah, because they shouldn't have played Golden Guardians until later in the tournament.
Yeah,
that's just understandable tormat formatting.
Yeah, and it was mainly the reason people were so mad was because the young up and coming bot lane on GGS like absolutely raffle stomped bottom lane and got kind of hosed.
And who was
by
that?
Their top side collapsing.
Who was that bot lane?
Huhi and FBI. And that's what I'm saying. The last time I saw FBI and Doublelift go head to head, it was an experience.
I don't know. I just value. There are certain players that I think benefit from breaks, and Doublelift is one of those that I legitimately do think that he will benefit from it. He will not be better than Berserker. He will not be better than Prince, but he will be good enough to get past FBI, Luger, and crew. I think that's fair.
You think he's better than Yeon too?
I think when he initially comes back, no, but I think by the end of summer, yeah, or by the end of spring, yes.
Seems reasonable.
The thing that I worry about with Doublelift specifically is he comes back looking rough, grinds enough to get like top 3, top 4 status ADC, but then falls off at the end of summer because his motivation goes away too quick. That's what I worry about with him.
I worry he doesn't even make it into summer.
I mean, Paul's worried about that too. He's
like if they bomb, like if the rest of the team bombs and drags them like out of playoffs or something, I don't think they'll stick around, either him or Bjergsen. Like if they don't perform at least into like a deep playoff run, second, third, or fourth, or first, who knows? But
I think Bjergsen stays. I don't see a reason why Bjergsen would leave. But Doublelift, I can see your point.
They're definitely a vibe of like it's feast or famine. They either do
I get that
really well and keep their
the last time
mental.
Bjergsen came back, it was very average.
He was still a top 4 mid last split.
Yeah, but he should be dominating.
Not necessarily. Players get older.
Who's he playing against? Jensen? LOL.
Okay, well, let's shift it to the mid lane unless anybody's got anything else to say about bot.
No.
Nope, let's just continue never mentioning TSM.
This one's mind-blowing to me.
I don't know what you want me to say about Neo, bro. I can't even cope with that.
I need to move that.
Let me see if I can, there we go. I'm glad we both have, we all have Palafox and a Blaze Olive in the dumpster.
Yeah, my mid lane one, I want to make it clear, and I told Dave this when I said it to him. I set my mid lane up as people I've seen is my top 4. People I haven't is the middle 4. Or, my bad, the middle, what is it?
The middle.
From Vikla, yeah. Vikla Gory, my middle 4, and the last 2 are just whoever. Like, I couldn't.
I pretty much agree with this averaged out ranking. I have one notable exception in that I think Gory is going to play better than his team.
I agree with you.
I think in mid lane it's actually easy to look good and still lose the game. I think it's the easiest role to look good and still lose the game.
True.
How many times did Bjergsen shit on Jensen over the years? But Jensen was still always number 2. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I think Gory will definitely be one of those standout mids that does really well, but Golden Guardians I think it's not going to do it. That's why I think that's why I had Huhi rated high too. I think they're players of the same sort of like I will perform better than my team I will carry my team if we win, and I will not be the reason we lose if we lose. Other than that, your rankings are pretty spot on to what I thought. I'm actually down on Diplex because I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence in him, and I think Emine's is actually better having seen both of them play.
I feel like C9 always finds a way to get somebody that's going to be like middle of the road. And just like
yes,
fills
C9
the role
middle
well.
of the road mid laners, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he will slot in well.
Sure.
He will allow Berserker and Blaver to get all the resources that they need, and that's going to be your way to win. Like that just I think that's how C9 plays. Like they have a specific style that they want, and that's how they're going to get it almost every time.
I think you guys are high on Jensen. I have him at 8th.
I thought I had him lower. I thought I had Jensen at like 7.
I mean, it's fucking Dignitas. I think the problem is even if Jensen is individually good, Dignitas is just gonna.
I mean, I'm not as low on Dignitas as you are right now. I think I have Dignitas.
Oh, I don't. I
like
think they'll
6.
still be middle of the road. I just think. I don't know. I don't think Jensen. I think rating him on his past performances is kind of helping him for you guys, and I'm just like kind of done with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also like your former player.
Because he was the weak link of the team when he came back. You know, no offense to him, I love the guy. He's great. He just didn't. Yeah.
It's also like when you're done with your toys, you kind of throw them in the trash. Like you're just done with them.
Not that. He's been on the team. He's been off the team. He's been back on the team. It's just like eventually you got to be like, okay, we're done here. But like I said, Cloud9 has basically 2 LCS caliber mid laners in Diplex and Eminis. So I think if one of them starts eating shit, I think the play will be to sub the other guy in, especially if he can keep his toxicity in check. So I think it's really hard to rate. I just put them kind of together in that slot. I think they're both average until they could prove they play on the big stage well. So
I'm surprised you guys had Bjergsen as high as you did. Like we all agreed that Jojo Puma was 1, and then it was a combination of Bjergsen and Vikla for like 2, 3.
I have Maple as 3rd.
Which blows my freaking mind that you would put Maple 3rd.
I have a soft spot for Maple.
I can tell.
I think he's
3rd.
I think he's way better than his team, and I think he can like. I don't know. I struggled with this because I like the guy. I've loved watching him. God, he's been in what 3 different leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Something like I forget.
Yeah, he's been in LPL, whatever Taiwan's called now, and now here.
Yeah. So I don't know that I'd necessarily. The thing about at least let me see our the full power rankings. I honestly think like top 3 is just set. Jojo Pune, Bjergsen, Vikla in whatever order. And the other 7 are really hard to put over one another, especially with the way mid lane is, where it's like you can, it's the easiest role to be flashy and while still losing. You know what I mean? Like look good.
Well, the bottom 2 is pretty easy.
Well, yeah, okay. So if we take the top 3 and the bottom 2, the middle 5, especially for mid laners, more than any other role, feels to me like it's so hard to actually put them in a proper order.
Agreed.
Just because it's such a volatile lane, and you're gonna look good even if you lose. So I don't know that I meant to rate Maple so high, but honestly, that little mess in the middle is just, I guess. Well, the interesting thing is, who did I have? Oh, I have Vikla down at 5. I could switch Vikla and Maple and put Vikla at 3 and Maple at 5 on my own rankings, and not feel too bad about it. If we're being honest. So
the weird thing, and you mentioned it with Gory, and I think it's a fair point. It's like even if you're overperforming relative to your team, like your ceiling, I doubt when you directly compare him to other mid laners, it's like sure, you might be overperforming, but are you really going to be better than, 3 or 4 of the people above you that are on top teams? I find that hard to believe. Not saying that Gory can't get there. Gory could easily be a top 4 mid laner in the LCS, but I'm not 100% sold on it.
Trying to find did Takuli, however you say his name, Tuasil, that dude on FlyQuest last year?
Tukui.
Their mid laner. I think he's a good representation of how hard it is to judge a mid, or how well a mid can go above his team. Because that dude last year, it seemed like he was going to be almost a third team All Pro type guy. You were kind of watching him
he did make All Pro.
He did get an All Pro, right?
Yeah.
I tried to look it up real quick and I couldn't find it. And that's the kind of thing that's FlyQuest didn't really have anybody else last year who I was like, oh, they could make All Pro, but he was doing it on his own. And in the games that they won, he looked awesome. He was carrying. In the games that they lost, you didn't really care. Even if he played bad, you were just letting it go because you would chalk it up to his team. That's why mid lane is just so hard, and why I agree that middle 5 is impossible.
With Vikla?
What?
I think I was just thinking about Vikla because you just said something. He was on KT Rolster?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Every year ever since FlyQuest came in second, that one spring split or whatever, every single split, some guy be out here on the corner with a fucking, spinning pizza sign this is FlyQuest split, man, I'm telling you. And every single time they just don't make it. They come in third, fourth, or fifth, that.
To be fair, that 2020 year, they came in second both spring and summer.
Yeah, and ever since then, everyone's like, this is FlyQuest year, and it just hasn't been. So, these two guys, Vikla and Prince, are definitely pushing them into contention, but they're both unproven imports, so...
This year, I would say, is a legitimate exception, given the ownership changes, given Papa Smithy coming in.
I think it's the most likely year of all the years since those two splits, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think, this is the one year that, I am actually bought in on FlyQuest. I like what they did with their roster construction with the younger players in Spica and Ayla, good imports with Vikla and Prince, and then a stable rock in the top lane with Impact that has just brought...
God bless Impact.
Yeah, just has brought amazing things to every team that he's on. He's never played bad at a team.
I could every time I look at Impact, I'm just I just remember that old interview where Meteos goes, yeah, sometimes our top just says top die, and the enemy top just dies. I'll never get over that.
Anything else we want to address on mid before we go to the very contentious jungle debate?
The only thing is, I think that Harry will be a product of the experiment that TL is doing with full Korean probably language roster in terms of in-game communication. I think Harry I don't know enough about him to really, put a stake in where he actually ends up. I think it really depends on whether TL pops off or not.
And what is your argument for Palafox above Harry and Maple?
Me?
Dave's.
Oh, he must have made a mistake. That's probably an error.
No, I legitimately think he was a phenomenal academy player last year that is going to be slot into a system that will allow him to play the style that he wants to and grind to a level that will get him LCS caliber by the end of Spring Split. These are my play. The top of what?
The top of the trash heap. So basically the top of the bottom 3.
But I don't think the difference between that and between him and everybody else though is that we are judging this based on where he'll be at the end of his first ever split, which is different than Palafox.
I thought he played for them last year.
No, he played for Academy. This is his first ever split.
Whose?
Harry.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about Palafox.
Yeah, Palafox played. That's what I'm saying. This is Harry's first split. So it's different when it is different when comparing him. If he's the 7th best mid laner in the LCS, that is different than Palafox being 7th best. You would expect the spot where Palafox is at in his career to be higher, but he's not. Harry being
I just don't buy that he's
Oh.
better than Maple to you.
Harry has
as
no
well.
team history. I was thinking of someone else for some reason. Wow, yeah.
I personally think that TSM is going to drag Maple down, and Maple's just going to be mentally checked out by the end of spring. Like,
wait, Harry
again,
is an OCE player.
Yeah.
What track record do you have of OCE players coming into the league and dominating everyone, especially in the top lane?
Yeah, so that's why I feel good about him. Like, I legitimately feel fine with Harry being higher up.
It does kind of people, thinking of OCE and being like, oh, OCE is shit. I think Fudge was the prototype that proved that no, they can compete, so don't write them off just based on their region.
And FBI.
Yeah, well, you said that guy's washed and trash now, so who knows?
Not gonna fight you on that. Let's get into jungle.
Yeah, and what about Ryoma?
Anybody who doesn't put Blabber at the top of jungle is anything.
I agree with you. I think the
guy
only
has just been too good for too long.
The only argument to be made is Inspired. If Inspired keeps up his current form, he is better than Blabber.
I have Inspired at 5, so you're not selling me.
Inspire was dragged down at the end of last year by an EG roster that was imploding with Danny stepping out. I don't think that's on Inspired. And Inspired was your MVP. Was he spring MVP for Inspired?
Yeah, he was spring MVP.
Yeah, he was spring MVP.
Yeah. So, like, Inspired is clearly, like, Blabber, Closer, Inspired are my 1, 2, 3 easy. I don't think that is able to be contested in any way at the current moment. I just think if EG plays well, Inspire can go up, but I don't have faith in that happening. I have faith in Blabber returning to spring form and just looking insane.
For jungle, I actually think our bottom 4 average came out perfectly. Not perfectly, but like the 4 of them are all 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Somebody could just bitch at me was bitching at me earlier for contracts at 10, but I can't. The guy's been around for too long. He just doesn't inspire me anymore. He might do well because CLG is doing well, but like I don't know. He hasn't. Ever since he failed out of Cloud9, I haven't had any faith in him to perform.
Good call in chat, by the way. It was Summer MVP for Inspired, and Spring MVP was Summit. So he is your reigning LCS MVP that we are knocking down to 3rd to put Blabber and Closer ahead of him.
Honestly, I think this entire conversation with jungle should be about the top 6 on the average.
I agree.
The other 4 honestly don't. There's not a whole lot of discussion to be had unless somebody has a good point. None of those guys make me think, holy shit, this is a standout poor placing.
Do you have any contesting on that, Paul, or up for just debating the top 6?
I mean, yeah, top 6, but I guess contracts is just thrown in there.
I mean, contracts. I
have
faith
he's better than what we have rated.
Yeah, I personally.
No, I'm saying I don't have. Yeah, I don't have contracts even near my top 6.
I have contracts.
But
I think
Dave
what,
does.
6 for mine.
You have him at 5.
Yeah, behind I have. Who below him?
Me and Blue have him at 10. I don't think he's any good.
I mean, he played well last split. There's no denying that.
CLG was better than its parts. CLG as a team was much better than its parts.
Yeah,
okay, and that could
I think they're basically destined for regression. Essentially, like they took a roster that kind of peaked in some ways, and
I wouldn't say regression though. Is it regression if everybody else around you gets better and you remain the same? Yeah, you might drop in standings.
I mean, yes, because they're going to drop in standings, and that's regression to their mean. Like what they really are.
True, I guess.
You know what I mean? I just don't view them as something that is as good as they were last year, I guess, is the easiest way to say it.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
The one thing I will compare, what do we have? I don't know about you guys, but I'm giving Piosik the Just One Worlds buff in my placement.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He nearly got benched
Yeah,
in
I
summer.
didn't.
Like I don't really care about his actual how he performs this year in the sense that like I'm not trying to rate it based on his performance last year. I'm just giving him this fucking guy won Worlds buff and did
I
it.
put him at 5 because I think they
Bad.
won Worlds in spite of him, not because of him.
He was the best player on the team.
His smite,
What?
bruh. Okay, I
No,
thought
no,
you
no, no, no.
weren't joking. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like,
I thought he
no
was
way.
joking. Okay. Oh, that was the
His
sarcasm
placement
was
was like-
not
really
obvious
heated.
on that one.
When you started laughing, I was like, okay, good. I was like, bro made missing smites a career move. Like,
He was just baiting the games to be longer for the fans.
He
What do
made
you-
Gumayushi the second best jungler at Worlds. That's nuts.
Truly.
true. Like, he was just, I don't know. He was an experience to watch. Now, do I think he'll end up looking good? Yes, because his team is kind of like, well, who is it? Summit can do a lot. Like, Summit can make up a lot for a player, and he can kind of open you up to look better than you really are, in my opinion. So, like, there's a good chance he can do that. Like, Summit could end up making him look better than he is. Only because he's curb stopping tops. Like,
I like
What
okay,
happens? What happens when he gets Nar banned and just dies?
we'll get to that.
Like we've already
Uh,
fucking seen him fail
Well,
in NA.
we already know your hate towards previous Cloud9 members. I already know what you're gonna say against Summit. But on the jungle, like on Piosik, and I saw chat saying about this, like
hey, Summit's so.
not agreeing with
Never mind.
the hate on on Piosik. I don't think it's hate to put
I
him
mean,
forth. I think it's a compliment to Blabber, Closer, and Inspired to say that yeah, we legitimately think they're better than him.
Yeah, and I
That's a
like
con-
Speaker,
that
so I put him at 4.
of course.
I don't know
But
what to
like
tell you.
I don't think that's hate on them. That's a compliment to everybody else. Like, not everything has to be the negative for it. I genuinely believe that nobody in the LCS is close to the level that the top 3 are. I think
And
there
if
is a
you
significant
really,
gap.
I think Speaker could break it pretty easily into there, because if
Well,
you look
True,
at
he's
Speakle
got a
will
him
be
with
a
loaded
product.
the,
team.
I think Speakle will be a
yeah,
product of how FlyQuest performs.
yep.
I think he
If
looks bad on
his,
bad
yeah,
teams and good on good teams. Like
yeah, if he's
Spica,
playing on a good team, he's crazy.
people kept going on and on about how Spica was like carrying TSM at the end, but he really wasn't. Like he was doing individually good, but like uh, I don't know, it wasn't like how do I?
He
He is
wasn't
definitely a
losing them
player.
games.
Yeah,
He is
That's
which
it.
definitely a
is
player that looks um he looks better on worse teams, but good teams will still he's not he's a good player, but he's like he looks he's basically how do I put this? He does as well as his team does almost. Like
Well,
I feel like
he's a jungler. Like, in general, junglers
yeah,
perform really bad if their team is bad. Like,
yeah, they
it's
kind
just
of
how it is.
they
Yeah.
kind of because
You
the whole
can't do
game kind of
anything.
the whole game runs around the jungle
Yeah,
effectively.
and
So.
you don't get any XP really in jungle. So if you're not getting
And if
kills,
your solo lanes are getting their asses kicked and you're getting your jungle
yeah,
invaded, you're gonna look bad even if you're the world's best jungler.
yep.
Like when Blabber occasionally, very rarely starts on the back foot, he looks fucking awful. You know? Like
That's why he struggles a lot of worlds. Like, I think, like, or he shows that he makes what people would say are really dumb decisions at worlds, only because like they're decisions he would normally make, but it doesn't work against your solo laners getting beat. It's just how it is. But that's the
yeah.
risk that every
that's
jungler takes.
yeah.
And Blabber's probably the best jungler at like not just giving up on his style or the jungle style of play. He just continues to play his game, regardless
Yep.
of how everyone else is doing. Spica is a lot different in that people gave him a lot of credit last year, even though he was doing nothing, because he wasn't losing them games, but he wasn't really doing anything to win, so he was just existing until the
That's
season
like
ended.
Blabber, like you know that boy is about to pop off even if C9's doing badly, and he's
Yeah.
usually the reason that an unwinnable game for C9 suddenly ... question mark magical win out of nowhere. Like it's always Blabber. You know what I mean? Like when Cloud9 pulls out those crazy upsets, we all know them for. It's always Blabber. So it's hard to like, and it's Spica hasn't shown me anything like that. He's showed me that he's a talented jungler and that he's mechanically solid and that he can play, whatever champion you need him to play. Like he's got a good champion pool. He's got good jungle sense, but he doesn't have that. It feels like he doesn't have that killer instinct to like decide the game in a moment or like go for something wild. I think that Blabber has that almost
a
no other
9-man
jungler
sleep will
has.
do that to you.
Like I would even argue that like Blabber has the healthiest mindset out of any of these people. I hate watching games that drag on, like the one team's just limping to lose. Like I love Cloud9 when they just go balls to the wall, do some crazy stupid shit that has like a 4% chance of working, but otherwise they have a 100% chance to lose the game. It's like the game against Fnatic. They went in 0-3 for the last week with everybody shitting on them, and they came in and just fucking ripped Fnatic apart. Now they still lost the other 2 games, but like I don't know. Every other team I've ever seen at Worlds just gives up if it's not a good first week.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big I do think like Speak has been kind of hosed by that. Like that 9-man sleep play does like kind of mentally change how you play a game.
Yep.
But if FlyQuest is like a good team with solid skill, I think you could get that aggressive side of him back out, and that would close the gap like extremely hard. Because
he
you
could
just
jump
need
up the
somebody
top
to
too.
open him back.
If he opens back up to that 2020 TSM form where he's just being aggro the entire time, then he is above closer for me. Easily.
Yeah, I just think the problem is that he's a product of his team too much. Like, I think that's all there is to it. Like, he goes with his team's flow, and if they're losing, getting their asses beat, he's just still a good player, but he's not going to do something that'll like make your brain explode.
He's not going to be the closer guy that's going to go in and be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up and let me make this play."
Yeah, like,
but there's a minute. Well, he is though. He'll do that on a good team. That's what I'm saying.
But not every time. Like closer will do that regardless of whether he has a good team or not. Like he's just gonna.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that would propel Spica to top of a power ranking. What this is like, make him a number 1 like instantly if he has a team that pushes him.
I think the 4 people on our averages ranking at the top all have a unique quality about them that allows them to be at the top. They're not products of their team. They all have something that's like intangible almost.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so look, I'll go through them. Blabber, I mean, he's Blabber. Like, he's gonna pull a crazy play out to try and win the game, to try and unwin or to try and win an unwinnable game. Closer is incredibly mechanically talented. He will mechanics his way into a win purely on mechanics. Inspired has a bigger brain than the top 4 or the bottom 4 of the rest of this list. Piosik, I mean, I haven't seen him enough, but he won Worlds, so I put him up there. So they all have something. They all have some special sauce. Spica doesn't have sauce. Santorin doesn't have sauce.
I think Spica has sauce.
Item 1, logical. Item 2, logical. Item 3, logical. Item 4, well, he holds a trophy.
I think Spica though is like one of those. If we're saying that like he plays to his team, it just kind of feels unfair though because his team like has been terrible for 2 years. Like that's a long time to play on bad teams and wait out your contract. Like he was essentially waiting out a contract that he was stuck in.
When we talk about Santorin, I feel bad for this guy. He's talented. Like he really is a solid, talented jungler, and I think being on Dignitas is just gonna make him look terrible.
He reminds me a lot of Xmithy. Where, like, if you put him on a great team, or if you put him around great players, he will be a good glue guy. He's the, I don't know, he's the Metro Boomin of the LCS.
He's the
where
same
it's like,
as Spica. In my opinion, he's a glue guy. Like, but he doesn't have that wow factor.
But Spica is a glue guy that can pop off. I don't ever see Santorin in high pressure moments just does not do that. It seems like he always gets beat when it comes down to crunch time. I don't know if that's fit.
So does Spica. That's why I'm saying
Spica hasn't been in
MVPs in
the
a pod.
spotlight moments in like 2 years. I don't think
Well,
it's a
neither
fair
is
comparison.
I
Notorious,
don't
really.
agree with that
Yeah.
at all, though. Spica literally solo won a championship for TSM. Well, not solo. Him and Broken Blade essentially won a championship
What
for
year was
TSM.
that?
2020.
2020.
2020 spring?
You're talking 2 years
No,
ago.
summer.
Summer?
Yeah. It legitimately was Spica Broken Blade that carried them to a win.
I don't believe
Yeah.
this. Why did
Yeah,
I
he was
forget?
MVP. Spica was
Yeah.
MVP of the league.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever.
Like that's why I'm not really getting it. MVP of the league doesn't become MVP by mistake. Like you have to show something. You have to have something that propels you to be better. And he was MVP of the league when Blabber was in the league. It's not and closer. It's not like he was MVP of the league when two dogs weren't in the league. You had two dudes who knew how to play.
Wow. I
And then you can
forgot.
arguably say his roster's severely downgraded the next two
Oh, yeah.
seasons. Or splits years. My bad, splits
Summer
is
2020.
half.
I don't even remember losing to TSM in summer 2020 as C9 fan.
Yeah,
I don't remember
You
this.
probably just blocked it out.
I
Was
wouldn't
I?
blame you that you don't want to remember it.
Yeah, you probably
I'm
just
not.
blocked it out.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember this split at all.
That was the split where you were supposed to go to MSI. Cloud9 had the best team, quite frankly, the most dominant team
Yep.
that was ever
Yep.
made in the LCS, but
Yep.
then collapsed so heavily in summer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It was the
COVID happened, so that might have distracted you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Perks, right?
No, that was Niski. That was
Niski.
Niski's final
Yeah.
split before Perks was brought in
Yep.
the following year
Yep.
to bring him
Yep.
back.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I
And
mean,
there's
that
a
was
good
a
chance
while ago,
COVID
though.
made you
so-
kind of forget it too.
I have speaker rated at 4 though, so I mean, shrug.
All right, we got to get through
Yeah.
the top lane because we still got 2 more left, and we've already been going a good bit.
Oh, we're done.
I'm proud of us for putting Summit 1 and not giving in to the hate.
Yeah,
Why?
Summit, dude. Like,
People were very
good
down
player.
on Summit.
it really
Oh.
depends. I think this is an interesting ranking because let me see what I have Summit at. I have Summit at 3rd, but I'm not. I don't hate. We should all have Fudge Summit someday, and Impact.
I do not
as
have
top
Someday
4.
up that high, and I think I have a very valid reason why. Someday has a pretty good or pretty well-known track record of when he is not comfortable with his jungler, no matter how good his jungler is, he looks off. The timings are bad. If you recall back to 2020, or was it 2020 or 2019, whenever Someday was playing with various different iterations of the 100 Thieves roster, he did not look good for several spans of that. Now, could he still perform well? Yeah, he's coming off an MVP caliber season. But I personally believe this is going to be one of those splits where I just don't think EG clicks in the way that people are assuming that they're going to. And Someday's timing with the team is going to be off. No matter how good Inspired is, Someday just, for some reason, just sometimes doesn't mesh with certain junglers.
I also just to grab someone in chat, Fudge over Someday. Boo. To that I will say, Fudge only got exposed when he went to Worlds. We are not ranking these based on going back to Worlds. We are ranking these on going back into the LCS, where Fudge is still top dog.
Yep.
And he learned his lesson at Worlds that you can't just fucking jerk yourself off in practice tool for hours. And he actually joined Champions Queue and started grinding solo queue again, like real games. So to me, it's kind of disingenuous to imply that Fudge isn't still the king of NA. Like, he still is. Like, there's nothing. If you were like, okay, do this with Worlds in mind, yeah, I might write him 1 or 2 spots lower, for sure. But we're not. We're considering LCS performance against LCS caliber players. We're not rating Fudge against Zeus,
No.
or we're rating him against these guys that he's already beaten and going into a league where he only has to play against them.
And let me address the all pro point, because that is a fair counterpoint that someday Impact and Blippo were all ranked above him. That was regular season. By the end of spring split, by the end of play, once best of fives hit, he was the best top player.
Cloud9 took off like a fucking rocket in playoffs. Like,
Fudge,
if you don't remember.
Yeah, like Fudge was in by the time playoffs came, undeniably top 3. Yes, someday had an MVP level split in top lane. Impact also played incredibly well, but both of them got bodied by Fudge in playoffs.
Not gonna lie, this is a personal opinion. All pro teams don't mean shit to me. Like, they never have and they never will.
Yeah, because they lack playoff context. Like that's the problem that I will always have with them. I think if I could redo all pro, it would be an award given for the entire year, both regular season and playoffs, because I think that has to matter. Like there are certain players that just turn it on in playoffs. Closer is a great example of that. Regular season, Closer does not look good.
Cloud9 limped into playoffs at, like, what, 5th this past summer split?
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know. It's just,
well, to be fair, your bot when we think of 20 or this past summer's Cloud9, Berserker is going to be the one that gets remembered, understandably,
of course,
because the meta was Sivir, Yuumi, and
in
Sivir
general, all
Azeri.
pro teams, I don't believe, is a good argument for placing a player, because it doesn't factor playoffs, and I think playoffs are important.
I agree. I think, and I noticed Mark Z did that with his power rankings, and I know a lot of people are also going to do that as well. I think the Dive does it that way, where it's like, these are where we expect them to be by the end of the regular season. It's like, I want it by the end of the split. Like, I want it including playoffs.
Do you have a problem with the top maybe, I guess the top 5 and the bottom 5 being very set? Because I really don't see any arguments to where any players from top 5 or bottom 5 can move up into each other's categories. Like, I think all 5 bottom 5 players right now, you could argue, are all just bottom 5, not a particular rating.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. I was gonna say, because I think I could make an argument that if Someday slumps and Tenacity comes in and it performs well, I could see a world where Tenacity bumps up to 4, Someday drops down to 5. Like, I think that's possible, but yeah, no. If you're locking top 5 and locking bottom 5, yeah, I completely agree with that take.
I'm locking them all in together and saying they can all beat each other for the most part. I think our power rankings are still kind of important in the sense of individual positions, but I think top 5 has the potential to they all have the potential to beat each other. And then bottom 5 all have the potential to beat each other, but not top 5. You get what I'm
bottom
saying?
5's not being a top 5.
Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah, like, I very much think they're kind of stuck where they are.
I kind of have the top 4 as the top 4, and then Tenacity is in a tough spot.
Yeah. I think I just really enjoy saying that Tenacity is trash, because every time I do, David's eye twitches a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think Dave believes Tenacity's as good as he says he does, because, like, literally, if you talk to a 100 Thieves fan, they're already talking about Sniper.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
They do not care about Tenacity.
But I think there's a potential there is a world.
Just jealous of his beauty.
Yeah. There's a world where at the end of 2025, we are making the same list, and both Tenacity and Sniper are top 1 and 2. There is a world where that happens. So, like, I'm not as high as I can be on Sniper and the future of that, I also can still be optimistically hesitant about Tenacity. I don't know what the word is. It's just tough. Because
deserves to be sitting in 5, period.
Yes, I think so. I think his raw mechanics alone get him there.
So it's actually more like top 4, Tenacity, bottom 5.
I would say top 4, bottom unknown, 5, and then just put Tenacity as a major question mark somewhere on the outside that he could slot in anywhere.
But you could just call it. the top 4s, I've seen them play and I like it. Tenacity. And then the bottom 5 is I've seen them play and I don't like it.
I mean,
That's like the
that's
easiest
actually
way to
fair.
summarize them.
Yeah. Can't argue against that.
Honestly, I really think Impact is pretty fairly rated. He's consistent, but he's an old man and he's not as flashy as he used to be. Like, he's still good. Don't get me wrong. I just think the top 3 guys kind of have that wow factor. Impact is just kind of if he does well, I think it'll be because his team pops off. And if they're a dud, I think he'll be what he always is, a very dependable. I think he won't be. I think he'll never be the reason his team loses the game. But if his team does well, I think he'll be able to. He's always been like that though, like a standout even on bad teams.
Surprised Dave put Dokla so low. I thought Dokla was a premier
small
top.
He is, but I think by the end of spring, I don't know. I just think I think every other team has gotten better, and I think that Dokla is going to get hurt by a potentially weak mid jungle. That brings it, like, he's just going to be stuck on an island. He could have as many flashy 1v1s on Yone that he wants, but it's not going to matter if everything else collapses around you.
I don't know, his jungle's fine. You have him at 5.
I'm just saying that's the risk.
I know, but I'm just making fun because last split you were so high on Dokla.
I mean,
because not like any top laners have changed, really. We have 2 new tops. I guess 3 if you want to count Summit as new, but we all know what Summit is. Like, we've seen him play for a full split.
Yeah, I don't want to see him smash 100 Thieves again.
So realistically, Dokla just moved down with a rookie coming in, a promising rookie.
If he performs like he did last split and everybody else performs like they did, then Dokla automatically moves up to 4. It's just how it is, but like, we're guessing how it's going to be at the end of spring.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get on to the teams because we are really going over on time.
Okay. My bad.
I'll let you guys. Paul, what's your first impression? Anybody that really stands out?
Go ahead, Paul.
My first impression of teams?
Yeah, overall team rankings.
I am shocked that you have EG at 4.
I am shocked that on our averages, it forced 100 Thieves to 5th.
That's all. That's you guys.
Send me the averages.
Especially with this copium chugger, 100 Thieves for life.
I had him, what, 3rd?
I know. Yeah, you have him 3rd.
I had him 5th. What did you have him, Paul?
5th.
Let's see Paul Allen's card.
The problem is, I think I had what? FlyQuest. I had Cloud9 1, FlyQuest 2.
Well, you have them above EG and TL, which neither of us do.
I think TL's younger players end up connecting well. I think as a team, TL and Spring looks good, but I think 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, C9 are all
essentially
better.
Nick and I, this whole list, if you took the whole list from power rankings, you could pretty much say that our top is the same, our middle is the same, and our bottom is the same on a lot of things. Like, that's power rankings yet again. Me and Nick are like, we have some differences, but most of it is just us going like, I think these people belong here, and these people belong here.
So, to just chat, I believe that CLG has proven time and time again that they are a team that is greater than the sum of their parts. Like, their players are all very, very average players. Like, you can see, especially except for Contracts and Palafox. But those are a product of the averaging thing. But I really think CLG is the ultimate team that does well as a team and not just like freaking banger players that are like superstars. And so I really always don't ever count them out, especially with this new roster, which I always thought every single player on it was trash. But they continue to amaze me, or they continue to outperform the 8th place team I think they should be. Like, every split I'm like, oh god, I don't remember any of these players being anything, individually like, holy shit, I remember this guy. and every year CLG's like, hey, what's up?
I think the only thing that could hurt CLG this year is that bottom lane got a little stronger.
Yeah.
If some of the rookies or like imports work out, is like because last year their bottom lane, like I wouldn't really say their top side was like doing anything to win. They were just surviving long enough to make sure that nothing bad happened. And with that gone, I could see them running into some problems, but I don't. I don't
I,
know. I don't
I
think they're a bad team though, and I agree. They're an 8th place team that finds a way to get into playoffs. So if anything, good on them.
I'm surprised that you guys have TL over FlyQuest. I really am. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, those two teams. Those two
Yeah,
teams are a real question mark. They're both betting big on um, imports, like unproven imports. And by unproven, I know that Vikla and Prince are pretty proven in their regions, but I mean as imports in NA, which we all know can be really fucking hit or miss. So
The only
those
thing that
two,
scares me with
those
TL is that your two young players are in AD carry and mid. And while it worked for EG, we had like there's a really good chance that it works the opposite way here. Whereas Prince and Vikla, yeah, they're both imports in mid and ADC as well, but they have like your general floor that you're gonna get with them, which is automatically likely higher than what you would get from Harry and Yeon.
yeah, yeah. I don't really know. I put Liquid there because it's like there's just something about like their having Summit and Core JJ that I automatically liked their veterans a little more than I liked FlyQuest veterans. Not saying like Impact is terrible or Speaker are terrible. It's just that when I looked at Summit and Core JJ, I was like, what are they capable of versus Impact and Speaker? Because they're essentially the veterans or like the guys who've played in LCS before. And I know Summit and Core JJ, if they're playing well, can get there. Now, come playoffs, who knows? Like, what would happen? The problem is, yeah, Yeon and Harry did make me really nervous.
I'm curious. This is kind of off the wall, not directly related, but somewhat. If you could build a team out of all the players on this list that would be better than what you see C9, EG, or TL is, what team would you build? Would it just be the straight up top players in each role?
I mean, uh, I think Core JJ could plug and play anywhere, so he would be my support. I think he would play incredibly well with Berserker because they're both Korean. Um, if I had to choose a mid, it had to be JoJo. He's just too good. Jungle would have to be Blabber, and then top I could pick any of the top four and be happy with it. Like, but I think Fudge would have to edge it out. That's bias, but whatever.
Yeah, I would just take Vulcan because I like him more, but I get your argument for core. Like, I would take Vulcan and Berserker, JoJo, because I agree. Once again, he's so good. Blabber, once again, because he's that good. And then top, I think you just take Fudge because I feel like that kind of team with those kinds of carries and that much like players who need gold, Fudge would be the one of the better ones at filling that role.
Yeah.
Of finding a way to maximize his gold gained
Just to
and still
go
slide
back
in.
to what you just said, I think Core JJ is like a better how do I put this? A better if a team is not cohesive, like and needs some sort of something to stick it together. I think Core JJ is a better slot and play than Vulcan. I think Vulcan shines when he has a team that's firing on all cylinders, whereas Core JJ is like can be like the team mother, so to speak, way better.
I can see it. I just think that kind of team like doesn't need a mother, really, to me.
Follow up question on that.
Like,
If Danny was here and in prime form, or like before his break and collapse, where would you put him on this list, and would that change
Second or third, no
your
question.
opinion of EG?
That would honestly, with FBI coming in, it wouldn't change my opinion at all. I think they're both similarly skilled. Now, if you were going to compare Danny to, oh God, my brain's shorting out. Yeah, no, I don't think EG would do any better or worse because of him. I think he would be top 2 or 3, or second or third, not first. He'd be second or third.
Yeah, and I would put him in the same spot, but I wouldn't like take him over Berserker.
I would interchange him with FBI. Looking at this averages list, I would just nothing would change. He would just be FBI.
I would put him
I
above
wouldn't.
Prince.
Yeah.
I think he is clear number 2. I agree. Berserker by the end of summer was definitely better, but you give me you give me a team fight Danny, I will take team fight Danny over team fight Berserker. Personally, I think over like whole state of the game, you take Berserker, easy, but you plus 30 minutes on, give me Danny every time. There's no better team fighter in the LCS than him. None.
Yeah, but the game's not decided after 30 minutes.
And that's why I agree. But
the whole
it seems...
game can win.
What?
Yeah.
To go back to, can we go back to teams?
Yeah.
What did you guys have as your specific top 2?
I think
top 2 teams.
I had Cloud9 first. I had FlyQuest second, I believe. Oh
wow! And you, Paul?
I had EG then C9.
That's not. Yeah, okay. Because I had Team Liquid second, but I'm looking back at that, and I'm realizing that like when I was putting this together, for some reason I thought Harry, is that how you just say it?
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah.
Harry. I thought Harry and Yeon had more experience, and weren't just like dyed-in-the-wool rookies. So I rated them a little higher than I should have. But definitely, yeah. Okay, that sounds exactly what I thought. Good on you, Dave, for admitting that Cloud9 is the greatest team of all time.
I'm shocked that Mark Z went 5th. I get he's low on Diplex.
Monty. Okay, apparently the other day, Monte Cristo put Cloud9 as 5th or 6th in his power rankings.
Yeah, it's. I feel like they know something that we don't, to a certain extent, and the reason why they're putting them there. But I don't know how you don't put C9 at first, at least as of
when is their power rankings? When are they like?
Mark Z
what are they setting them for?
They're
week 1? Like I'm saying, but are they for week 1?
No, they're
for the whole
end,
spring.
End of the regular season.
Oh, because I can see you trying to say championship hangover, like for the first 3 weeks, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe something goes wrong, but I don't see. I don't care who's playing mid lane, to be honest. I don't see the other 4 letting that happen.
I think once you get the best of 5s, Berserker, Blabber, Fudge are just
it don't matter
who's
playing mid. It could be a blind person playing mid, and they would tell them what to do and where to click. I'm convinced it would be fine.
I'm okay with Cloud9 people rating them low because.
Well, yeah, because you need the bulletin board material.
Well, no, every time Cloud9 comes in like super high rated, they blow out in spring. So having no expectations by most of the big names is good.
I'm shocked that all of those people have TSM at 10.
Wait, what? No, I've heard everybody had. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I've heard Immortals as 10th from literally everybody.
Oh well, I just meant like us being low ranked. I was joking. Like
I don't know how to like. I don't feel like I can argue 100 Thieves' position. They just have to prove it. Like if they're better than 5th, they have to prove it. But beyond that, like I don't know what to say there. Because there's a world where they finish top 3 and everything clicks. There's a world where they finish 6th, maybe 7th. If Dignitas and CLG click.
I actually think 100 Thieves will live and die on how good or bad Tenacity and Busio are. Like, because the rest of them are known quantities, TBH. If the rookies are trash and get exposed and beaten, like, I don't know.
even worse if that happens. Not just them getting exposed and beaten being a problem. It's more, I'm curious how DL reacts to that.
Yeah.
Because if anything, I highly doubt his, I don't know what you call it. I don't want to say maturity,
Demeanor.
but it's kind of, yeah, his demeanor / maturity levels aren't really great in a losing environment. So I don't know if the two rookies are the reason they're losing, it's going to be really ugly.
I mean, from all the videos that I've watched with him and Busio so far, I can promise you, Busio's not going to be an issue. Like that, I will agree that I think Tenacity deserves a question mark, given that he wasn't able to earn his spot last year.
Telling me the PR team does their PR team's job.
Yes, but also just generally like gauging Busio like on a social media level separate from PR, everything else. Like Double Lift speaks highly of him, but more importantly, just the when I watch Busio play, he is different from any other support that I've seen. He communicates better.
He is really good.
He is way more acknowledging and understanding of what went wrong in moments on his part and not blaming other people. He's very selfless. And I think that I don't want to be too bold and over the top with this because I have a tendency to do that, but I'm going to do it again anyways because screw it. I legitimately think that by the time Busio is done with his career in the LCS, he has the potential to go down with the names of Vulcan and Core JJ as of right now.
That's just wildly unproven.
It's wildly unproven. We haven't even seen him for a moment, but just like I get early like Tiger Woods analytical vibes and like the way that he thinks about the game. And I really value that personally.
I would trust you, but Kenvy happened.
True.
Like,
True.
You were so high on Kenvy, and
I was also high on JoJo, and that worked out well.
Yeah, well, JoJo's JoJo.
Okay, and Busio could end up being Busio.
Big true.
Busio is coming in with the same level of hype and expectation as JoJo was last year.
Is he? I've
Yes.
never heard of him.
Yes.
Well,
I've seen everybody highly rate him and hype him up coming into this year.
This
Not
motherfucker be on like r/100 Thieves and being like, everybody is saying he's going to be so good. Like,
no,
bro.
I've heard this from Mark Z.
There are a lot of
Cadril, LS. When LS is saying that he's really freaking good,
I don't care what that fuckwad thinks.
I know you don't, but I'm saying like whenever a large portion of the community is speaking out about this, I tend to believe it. Okay, what about Dom?
I don't care what Dom thinks.
I know Paul values Dom's opinion.
Dom is entertaining. I don't think he has analysis worth. I don't think he. I don't know.
I enjoy his LPL stuff more than I enjoy his LCS stuff.
I think he's a great entertainer. I just don't.
I think he's I just think he's more in tune with LPL than LCS. I think he does LCS to get by, but he is not wrong in saying that there are a lot of people who think Busio is very good, and I like Busio personally because he plays Camille support, and I play weird stuff like that. Yep, I'll play like Zhao support, and anytime if somebody flames me for playing it in solo queue, I'll just say, well, there's a pro doing it now. Now I say that because I can this season.
Yeah.
So I like him for that. But that's about it. Other than that, I don't know. I wish him the worst because he's not on my team. So I hope he crashes and burns. But I hope he get paid too.
Well, with that, we have one other thing that we need to do to close out the podcast because we're going on 2 hours. We are doing a draft. I'm not sure if you've listened to the podcast lately, Nick.
No, I've been ambushed.
The way that we end each podcast now is that we do a draft of a random topic and then we let chat decide who wins. And then I either post it on TikTok or just clickbait the shit out of it elsewhere. So this is going to be the Cloud9 players draft. All time. You get to pick all time. So it'll be me and Paul versus you. We put you through the ringer on this. Nick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that. Cloud9 players, Nick. Let me copy this over. And we're going to go with DP for me and Paul. Who
Yeah,
you
you
get?
are.
You, you get first pick, Nick. Who do you want? All time
For what?
Cloud9
All
players.
time? I gotta look at the.
And
look at the
you're not
roster.
building a roster either. Like it's literally just
Wait, what do you mean then?
drafting. You are drafting players. Like it's like NFL draft.
Yeah, but what?
You're just drafting them out, I guess, for influence. Would that be
Just
the word?
overall, like just like any criteria, whatever you think is gonna win a poll in chat.
Okay.
The top criteria. High.
Damn.
I think it's pretty obvious who our number one is.
Take him. I
Medios.
think he's obvious.
Really not sneaky?
I think Medios long
one of the two.
term.
Take your
Your
one.
loss. Sneaky.
Yep. I was like, you had first pick, so you're getting 2 of the good 3.
Who do you think, Paul? Are you typing to me?
Yeah.
Because I don't have my Discord open yet.
Oh, I sent it to you.
Either okay, I agree with either him or this. But you make the call.
I rather like the one I sent.
Okay, go ahead.
I just like him. Oh, Blabber. We're staying jungle.
Nick, you get third.
It's clearly got to be Bubba Dub. No, I'm just kidding. You guys don't even know who Bubba Dub is.
No, I don't.
Long story.
Wasn't he
Not
a
worth talking about. Great guy, but not worth. We're gonna do. I think the obvious choice has to be Jensen.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Now we just take yours.
We take mine.
Yeah, if you want them.
Yeah. We're gonna go.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
You don't have to take him yet.
Well, you just gave him away.
No. Nah, we're
Okay.
going Impact first.
Okay.
Yep. All right. We're sticking with number 3 at Impact.
I want to say Cloud9 Jack, but because I like him so much.
You. Oh wait, he's not a player. I
Not
was
a
gonna
player.
say I can't expand it to elsewhere. Damn.
Fourth has got to be Sven.
Sven.
Yeah.
Oh,
Z-V-E-N.
I think you fumbled that hard.
It's been on 2 fucking different roles.
Okay.
I mean, I know you're just gonna put Sven Skaren, but
Either it's your call. I think it's either the one you said previously, Paul, or this one.
I already know what my 5 is, so no taking it allowed. You're banned.
Go it.
Mine or yours?
Yours.
We're gonna go Fudge.
Take the L, elimination.
Ah, we should have
Yeah,
taken one.
that was the one we were gonna take.
I just take the other top laner, Balls. Give us Balls. Balls made them money when he
Who?
got flag. When Balls
Who?
put C9A into whatchamacallit, LCS, and then got made FlyQuest a thing.
Part of me wanted to say Reaper, but then I didn't.
And now we get to see there is a poll in chat that you all get to
Ooh, I'm
vote.
winning.
Who won the draft? And I know you're only winning because you voted for yourself partially. I don't think Sven is a good 4th round pick. I don't know why you would take Sven over Fudge. Fudge has been with the team longer and is more of a face of Cloud9 than Sven is.
Well, your chat seems to think you're full of shit. And
We're
yeah,
not full of
Sven.
shit. You automatically win because you have high and sneaky.
Well, whose fault is that? You could have taken Sneaky at 1. Who took fucking Meteos at 1? Whose dumbass idea was that? Sneaky is infinitely more marketable than Meteos.
I don't think it matters what we pick. I think you get high. Your combination with high and sneaky or high and Meteos either way beats us.
Your fault for giving me first.
Okay, I'm just gonna be a dick to all the guests and make sure that I first pick anytime we do these drafts from now on. Then got it. That'll make people want to come back.
If you're challenging someone, I think it's better for you if you're challenging someone on a team that you don't know more about than the other person, right? Like I would argue that like I know, like I'm more in tune with like what people like. With like for Cloud9, for example, I think you need to go first. I think you need the advantage. You know what I mean? For specifically Cloud9,
Okay. You're probably right on that.
Like okay, so let's say Paul's been a TSM fan for fucking like 40 years. Let's say he was still a TSM fan, right? You should go first against him because he's gonna know better than you what TSM fans are gonna or people are gonna rate as TSM's strong points. So I think you need to go first.
You're probably right on that actually, and I'm wrong.
I'm always right.
Shut the fuck up. No, you're not.
This is not a way to appeal to LCS teams, Dave.
I hate that this is gonna be a meme held over my head until the end of time.
Not a way to appeal to LCS teams.
Do you know what that's from, Paul?
Nope. I was gonna ask.
Oh, okay. Well,
What'd I miss?
I don't want to call it out on stream just because I don't want to bring any more attention to it.
Just send it to him.
Wait, do you already have it, Nick, or no?
What? No, I'm not.
No, he's saying you send it.
I'm saying you should. Yeah. Any list with Jensen is incorrect. My man was with Cloud9 twice. I don't know what you're talking about. Jensen is huge.
Yeah.
Jensen was the only reason they stabilized after High left.
Yeah, I was gonna say
when
that's
Jensen first
kind
came
of
on the scene, he played out of his mind, and Bjergsen barely held on. Bjergsen was fucking white knuckling the LCS after Jensen joined. Before that, he was just stomping everything. Okay. Jensen was the first player to make Bjergsen try in the LCS.
I mean, he also did get 100. He got Flame Horizons his first game.
Yeah,
he did. Check the replies to that tweet. I'm just waiting for your reaction on this one.
What? They're all hidden.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay, I'm seeing it now. I only see one reply. What is it? Oh! I like this.
So yeah, that's the new meme against me.
No. Well, you know someone's good when they're an investor.
I mean, it's not as bad as fucking Travis calling you shycock, so.
True.
True.
But that's our responsibility as your friends to make fun of you completely nonstop.
I mean, good. Keep it up.
Stop. He really is a part of.
Yeah. That's why, like, whenever I saw it, like, the first thing I did was just immediately message other people and just be like, "Am I wrong? Like, if I'm out of line, if I'm out of pocket, tell me. I will apologize right now." But I didn't think I was.
You've got to be kidding me.
And that's cool. That poll ended, and I absolutely shit on you guys by a factor of 2 to 1.
Paul, what are you losing it over?
What he said that he shit on us. I like it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We've been here for an hour and 50 minutes. I got to end this and get ready to upload it tomorrow. Nick, thanks as always for coming on. What wager are we going to give you this time to give you a chance to come back?
Oh, that's a good question. Just my innate smarts and your value of my thought process. Yeah, that sounds good.
I already owe you drinks, so.
True.
I'm not trying to owe you another podcast episode yet.
Wow, yeah, because I'm just such a terrible guest every time I come on.
You are fucking horrible. Glad you acknowledge it.
Someone's better. They just lost their own competition.
Definitely. Before we go, quick shout outs. I know we didn't do a subtopic this particular episode. Unfortunately, we had a lot to get through. I promise we will have one next week. And
I'll give you a wager for my next podcast appearance.
What?
Halfway through the split, Cloud9 will have a winning record.
No, because I think that's going to happen.
Okay, higher than 66%.
I think that's going to happen.
Higher than 75%.
That's a good call.
He's getting you now.
Halfway through the split, 9 games,
start?
70. That means you could only lose 2 games.
So you think they'll be worse than that? You think they'll be 6-3 or worse?
No, because if Cloud9's going to be... No, I think 7-2 is right where they're going to be. I think they get worse the second round robin, but I think the first one they come out hot.
So you want to do 7-2 then? They have to be 7-2 for my next appearance?
Well, no, because I'm saying they're going to be 7-2. I think they will hit that.
Oh.
I think that's the record that they land on. I think their only losses are going to be to Team Liquid and 100 Thieves in the first round robin. And then in the second round robin, I think they get exposed more, but then they're better come playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know what to make the wager then.
There's really none.
I just wish I was valued for my large brain and amazing ability to beat you at polls, but I guess I'm not.
You are. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Everybody have a phenomenal night. I really do have to end this. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Tundra, Kegrin, Rush GG, Napoleon Dynamite 1, No Hands 15 for following. I really do appreciate it. We will see you all on Saturday when I'm streaming next. We're going to do a live view of the Challengers League in North America. Not sure whether I'll be able to co-stream or not, so I'm only committing now to a live view, but we will be watching the new 100 Thieves with General Sniper at the helm in action. So we will see you guys next week. Adios. Paul, any final words?
Keep on boogieing.
Of course.
He's an A, by the way.